Robert F. Kennedy Jr. might be talking about healthcare these days, but how much care did he really show in his personal life? Because when you hear he's had over 40 mistresses and 3 marriages, you've got to wonder, was he treating hearts the way he wants to treat the nation's health?
I don't know.
Let's talk about his current wife, Cheryl Hines, the actress you might know from Curb Your Enthusiasm. They got married back in 2014 after 3 years of dating, but their story actually started way earlier. They first met in 2006 at a fundraiser when RFK Jr. was still married to Mary Richardson. After his separation, he reconnected with Cheryl in 2012, and things got romantic from there. Before Cheryl, RFK Jr. was married twice. His first wife, Emily Ruth Black, was his classmate at the University of Virginia School of Law. They tied the knot in 1982, had 2 kids, Bobby Kennedy III and Kit Kennedy, and eventually divorced in 1994. Then came Mary Richardson, an interior designer and philanthropist who co-founded the Food Allergy Initiative. They got married the same year he divorced Emily and had 4 children together: Connor, Kyra, Aiden, and William Finn. Their marriage ended in 2010, and tragically, Mary unalived herself in 2012. After her passing, her journals revealed some troubling insights into their relationship. She reportedly believed Kennedy was using aliases to hide his affairs, and she discovered diaries with coded descriptions of his encounters.
The late wife of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was drinking heavily, severely depressed, and devastated by her pending divorce and the threat of losing custody of her 4 children.
Now back to Cheryl. The two seemed like a united front for years. But in 2024, things started shifting. Hines was spotted without her wedding ring, and whispers began circulating about an alleged affair between RFK Jr. and journalist Olivia Nuzzi. Cheryl hasn't addressed the rumors directly, but insiders say she's not someone who would quietly accept infidelity. She's strong, successful, and financially independent. If something's off, she's not likely to stay silent.
That I would have radical transparency.
And then there's that list. In 2014, it was reported that Kennedy kept an alphabetized list of women under G, which his late wife Mary believed stood for Gumar, the Italian slang for mistress. Yes, Cheryl Hines was on that list too before she became his wife. So were others, like Chelsea Chapman Kerwin, who was linked to him during her own high-profile divorce. The list supposedly included women from all over: Toronto, Paris, Miami, Aspen, even Alaska. Some names were so common, Kennedy allegedly had to sort them by occupation or city just to keep track. Can you imagine that? As for the latest rumors, Kennedy insists he only met Olivia Nuzzi once, but that hasn't stopped speculation. His team has stayed quiet on the mistress list, just like they did a decade ago when it first made headlines.
I expect we will know the answers.
It seems like Kennedy's walking the same path as his boss Donald Trump. 3 marriages, constant chaos, and a personal life that keeps making headlines. And here's a juicy bit. He actually cheated on his first wife with the woman who would later become his second wife. And guess what? The boomerang effect hit hard. She allegedly cheated on him right back. Now, let's take a closer look back at this scandalous chapter in Trump's life. Donald met Ivana, née Ivana Zelnichkova, in 1976.
Lady Trump, I was first wife. Come here. Okay. I don't know what is Melania problem. She just has to get over it.
She ended up in New York City for a modeling gig, and during a dinner with other models, Donald swooped in. He secured the group the best table in the place and joined them. Smooth move, right?
And I turned to my girlfriend and said, I have a good news and bad news. What is the good news? We're going to get a table real fast. What is the bad news? This fellow behind me is going to go and sit with us.
By Christmas, Donald asked her to go on vacation. They went to Aspen and had the most romantic time together. On New Year's Eve, Donald told her, "If you don't marry me, you'll ruin your life." Now that's the Trump we know. And despite having known each other for only a few months, Ivana agreed to marry him.
Donald always had a great head on his shoulder, and I saw the potential in it.
They tied the knot on April 9th, 1977 in New York City, and during their honeymoon in Mexico, Ivana became pregnant with their first child. On December 31, 1977, their son Donald Jr. was born. The couple went on to welcome 2 more children, Ivanka in 1981 and Eric in 1984. A picture-perfect marriage, right? But wait.
He did not know how to speak to them in the children way of thinking. So he was able to speak to them only when they came from university, when eventually was able to speak business with them.
Yeah.
You know, but otherwise he really did not know how to handle the kids.
Donald and Ivana weren't just partners in marriage, but also in business.
And I was chief executive officer, and casino really did very well. It was the most profitable hotel casino in the United States.
However, their seemingly perfect marriage hit the rocks in 1989 when Ivana discovered Donald's affair with model Marla Maples.
Did you see warning signs?
I really didn't. I really didn't.
It all happened during the family's annual holiday trip to Aspen. Ivana ran into Maples outside a restaurant, with patrons and the rest of the family watching. Ivana wrote, "This young blonde woman approached me out of the blue and said, 'I'm Marla, and I love your husband. Do you?' I said, 'Get lost. I love my husband.' It was unladylike, but I was in shock."
We were actually standing near the restaurant, getting ready to put skis on. And I was standing there like an idiot. And Marla and Ivana were here. And there wasn't shouting, but you could obviously see there was some friction.
Turns out this affair had been going on for years.
Do you think unless the two had actually come face to face, you would have confronted that situation?
Well, it's interesting because it's possible that, maybe it would still be going on. I'm not sure.
The affair made headlines, and in March 1990, Ivana officially filed for divorce, resigning from the Trump Organization a few months later.
In my case, it was just so clear, and the trust was broken so badly that I knew that it was just no way it could be patched.
Maples and Donald continued to date on and off, and in 1993, she became pregnant with their first child. Their daughter Tiffany was born on October 13, which Maples later called the greatest unplanned surprise of all. Despite Donald previously saying he had no plans to get married again, the couple decided to tie the knot shortly after Tiffany's birth, on December 20th, 1993.
We really anticipated getting married and having a baby, not having a baby and getting married.
So why didn't you marry her right away when you found out she was pregnant? Why did you wait?
Indecision.
The pair remained married for 3 years before separating in May 1997. Maples later explained the split, saying that they differed on how they viewed the world and how they wanted to raise their child.
So I think you always hope in a marriage that you can bring out the best in each other. But after many years, we realized we weren't.
However, rumors swirl that the real cause was Maples cheating on Trump with his bodyguard, who was caught with her on a deserted beach. Probably not just having a late-night stroll. But Maples have always denied the affair, of course. But it's not all bad blood. Despite their rocky past, Donald and Marla managed to mend fences. In a 2013 Oprah interview, Marla revealed, "I still love Donald. I love Eric, Ivanka, and Donnie so much." They even managed to share an Easter celebration in April 2023. Who knew divorce could come with a side of friendly get-togethers?
He's the father of my child. I do not want to ever speak negative about it. But do we agree on everything? Absolutely not. We would be married if we still agreed on everything.
But Ivana, who passed away in 2022, clearly wasn't ready to forgive and forget.
I don't want to talk about her. She's a show girl, never achieved anything in her life.
In her 2017 memoir, Raising Trump, she didn't hold back, saying, "She actively participated in humiliating me in the media and indirectly put my kids at risk for months. I went through hell, and then I was expected to be okay with her being around my children?" Ivana's words reflected the deep hurt and betrayal she felt, a pain that her friends believe she never fully overcame. Well, who could blame Ivana?
He's free at the moment, isn't he? He's single.
Yes, he is.
Would you not like to get back together with him?
Nope.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you would like to get back?
Nope.
So, with all this scandal and drama, who do you think was the true love of Trump's life? Let's discuss in the comments.